I have started recording. Start whenever.
All right, who wants to give recap?
I don't think I was here last time.
I was only here for part of it.
I don't have much written from my notes, but I know that Julius had to talk with Agathon for a moment, and with Walsh, but I think it was a lot more like inter-party stuff that happened versus because we had already set Soshu free, or the previous episode or session.
Set Soshu free.
We released him back into the wild.
Like he was a little rabbit caught in your trap or something.
We went herping and found him out there like a snake, and we just picked him up and looked at him and then put him back where we found him.
This was a wildlife conservation effort.
Oh, Sierra, I thought it was a TNR outreach program.
But hey, we haven't bettered his welfare. We just kind of picked him up by the scruff and talked to him a little bit.
Oh, give me time.
We're gonna fucking Jesus. Okay, brain's not working. Ignore that thought.
Fucking conversement.
Yeah, nothing but conversement. The end of the session was technically everybody reaching the city, but I will back up a little bit. To a random day on the road in which Nagi is able to get another moment alone with Walsh in the evening.
Yeah, she would poke her head and make sure that Walsh was awake and alone. And if he was, would say, so she's not here anymore. Could you maybe tell me what you couldn't before, Mr. Walsh?
He looks up at you. He had sort of been kind of, trying to adjust, like, the bottom of a pant leg.
If it looks like he was still trying to do it, she'll, I can get that for you if you want.
It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
He's gone.
Uh-huh. We let him go earlier.
There is kind of this, like, exhale, like, almost of relief, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And he just sort of, sit down. Come in.
Sorry, what was that last part?
Just come in, sit down.
Yeah, she'll sit down cross-legged across from him, staring, like, intently at him, wide eyes. Just can't really tell who her pupils are because she got weird little, like, tiefling eyes.
And he sort of settles himself and I have known for some time of some of the devoted of my temple being primarily aligned with Soshu's employer, Akiono Nashimura.
Oh. Huh.
It has
Like,
been.
Sorry, okay.
It has been a thorn in my side for many years. And when I am able to identify one, I find ways to have them transferred.
Do I believe what he's saying?
Make an insight.
Yeah. Nope, that's not a DD20. There is a DD20. Let's see. 14 plus 10 for 24.
What you can read off of him is honest. Frankly, if anything, the only thing he is hiding is a little bit of embarrassment.
Mm-hmm. So what he's saying is he's known that the temple has had involvement with the devils for a while.
That certain members of the temple are in one way or another aligned with the devils.
Huh. Oh wow, damn. And so why align yourself with them? To lower their guard, or
It was only after our first agreement that I began to notice their presence. Whether that is because I was more familiar with them at that point, that I could pick them out, or only after that they decided it was in their best interests to keep tabs on the inner workings of the temple. I don't know.
and why are you telling me all this?
You asked about if I knew where your mother had gone.
And what does she have to do with all this? I'm sorry,
I am not directly accusing Nashimura of having anything to do with your mother's disappearance. Why they would take interest in her, I don't know. But their presence in the temple must not be discounted when you ask about what her last days in the city might have been like.
And what were her last days in the city like?
Again, Nagisa, I was not fully attentive to her. There are many people who come in and ask for access to our archives, to our records, to our historical work. That is something we take pride in. So it is not as if she stood out beyond the information that she shared with me at one point about Kanuno and her order. So I don't know when she disappeared. Whether that was while she was still visiting the temple regularly or not. But again, it is not a guaranteed thing. But if she vanished as quickly and as possibly violently as you suspect, Nashimura is a man who is very good at transporting people who don't want to be transported.
And everything he's saying so far, he believes to be the truth, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Again, you are very much getting the vibe of, like, he has no proof of any of this.
Yeah, it's just a theory.
It is
A
just
game theory.
a game theory. It is something that he knows about and something that he can see the dots, like, connecting with.
Uh-huh.
It is more that he is offering you a possibility of a lead rather than anything he knows concrete.
Concrete. Okay.
That's concrete, baby.
Yeah, she'll say, oh, okay, yeah, and I mean, I guess I could see that being a possibility. Do you have anything else that you might that sticks out in your memory at all? If not, I understand.
He sort of thinks again for a moment. And then shakes his head. I'm sorry. I hope any of this is of any help at all.
Well, it's a theory is something to work off of at least. Thank you, Mr. Walsh.
He nods. Genuinely, Miss Nagisa, I hope you find your mother.
I hope so too. I don't I don't care how long it'll take me, but I'll find her, and who knows what'll happen from there.
He actually offers you a little bit of a smile. It is not a warm, bright smile, but it is... This man has a very high charisma score.
Yeah. Luckily, I have a very high insight score.
Yeah, but like you can see how
he's one of people when he wins people over, essentially, right?
Yeah, you can see this in this sort of statesmanly but still affable expression. This very... He does not show much emotion ever. But there is a little bit of this charm, this little bit of this genuine, I think, hope and genuine well wish for your quest.
Yeah.
Because charisma isn't always who's being kind.
Yeah.
Charisma is a force of personality, and you can see it.
Yeah, and she'll just... well, thank you for your time, Mr. Walsh. I have a lot to think on. Do you have any questions you'd like to ask me before I depart, or?
Just that I hope you now understand why I waited to wish to share this with you.
Yeah, no, I get it. After... Yeah.
And he nods. I hope you have a good night.
I hope you have a comfortable night. And because she knows he can't do anything. He's the most he can hope for is comfortable. So she just gives a little head bow and walks out. At some point, she would have also liked to talk to Julius, the Julius.
The Julius of Julius's? Hello?
Yeah.
You do call him that.
Easily the Julius's stuff, Julius's.
Alright.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one night she would have just plopped down next to Julius by the fire or something.
Mance is sitting there, sketchbook in hand, glasses on.
Just, hi, Julius. Plop.
Hi, Nagisa.
So, I talked to Walsh the other day.
Alright.
And, so this is very weird. Remember how I mentioned that my mom was researching a necklace of some kind? Well, it just so happens to be, and she pulls out the little symbol symbol she drew, the one that kind of like the one you found.
Right.
Yeah, just, that's kind of weird, right?
I suppose so.
Well, just thought I'd touch base on that. Also, he theorizes that my mother probably went missing so hastily because of Nashimura.
He's gonna put the sketchbook down. Well, that's definitely not a good thing.
Yeah.
What the hell is your mother mixed up in with Nagi? Jesus.
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out, Mr. Julius. Just hubby.
Sorry, kid. He kind of just scratches the back of his neck. I can't exactly help you get to that guy for information. But, I mean, if we can ever find a way in with the devils, I suppose we can try and talk with them to figure out where your mother is. Because the last piece that could have brought us to that, is long gone.
Yeah, if only I'd known this before Soshu was gone.
You probably would have needed to give him some information that would have been worth that, and I'm not sure any of us possess that. Or at least if we do, it's probably not something you want to sacrifice, even if it is for your mom's information.
Internally, she's thinking, wow, Mr. Julius has no idea how much I would sacrifice to find my mom. But I'm not going to say that. And she's just like, yeah, no, I guess that's fair. So you don't know of any way to find him, or?
I mean, there's lots of ways that you can find ways in with the devils to talk with them, I suppose. But Nagi, that's really fucking dangerous. And if you go poke in that nest right now, I think they'll just kill you. You're a child to them.
Yeah.
And as much as some people would just brush you off as being a child, if they've got things to hide, they're not gonna hold back with you, and they will just clean up loose ends to make sure nobody comes calling. I know you want to find her, Nagi, and we will try and do that with you. We just need to be careful about that, okay?
I mean, yeah, of course. Plus it's not even like a surefire lead. It's just a theory.
It's something at least.
Yeah, it's something. But maybe it'll lead to something more. But maybe something not. Maybe she didn't get kidnapped by a gang or something. It just looks up at the sky and sighs. Little shark teeth, like very visible. Just. But yeah. Well, that's what I have. If you could think of anything, let me know. I'm gonna go bother Snowball.
Alright.
How could you?
I don't think there. This is up to your discretion, Parker. Is there anything I can think of to help Nagi in this situation as Julius? Aside from.
Well, there's information you know specifically about the symbol, i.e., it belongs to the sect of religious followers that existed about 1,000 years ago that founded the Lede worship, which is kind of a very old and very niche thing.
Yeah.
You know some things about the devils of Nashimura, namely, Nashimura is kind of a prick.
Yeah.
Is the head of the devils in Horitari, and you all recently broke into his office and stole his shit.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And I am very recognizable.
Yeah. There's some things that you know about. You can roll a history check, because I know that you'd know some things about the way the devils operate.
Okay.
In terms of, like, kidnapping and shit.
Alright.
That you can roll.
Oh, that was really fucking good. Hold on, what's my history? That's a 22.
22. Okay. So. Whew.
You alright?
I'm just trying to figure out how to describe this.
Okay.
Between the devils and the skulls, the devils are much more famous infamous, I suppose, for being willing to engage in human trafficking. Though they both sort of engage in disappearing people every once in a while, the devils are much more infamous for being actually involved in the skin trade. It's generally assumed that if the skulls disappear you're just dead. That's just an assassination, that's just a murder. When it comes to the devils, it can be more dicey. Whether or not they've just straight up killed somebody, or moved them around somewhere, or all of that. If that makes sense. You know that you were particularly imprisoned by either a subgroup or a contracted group. We're called the Children of Shadows.
Yep.
So not only are they themselves good at it internally, they do have networked connections to other groups that are willing to engage with the skin trade. The idea of them picking somebody up and whisking them away somewhere is entirely plausible. However, most of the time when this happens, it is either A, someone that no one would miss, so transients, the homeless, the wandering sorts, you know.
Yep.
Or someone who either owes them something, or someone that they want something from. You're not really sure how or if Nagi's mother would fit into any of these categories. You don't know Nagi's mother very much. And crucially, it is very, very hard to find somebody.
Once they've been taken.
Yeah.
There is a lot of networks out there that they just... It's like a spider web. It just keeps going and going and...
Yeah.
Makes it much harder to find somebody.
So...
I think he'd probably keep that portion to himself. The fact that it would seem somewhat hopeless. But he will mention, at the very least, like, most of those things to her. But he is not going to tell her exactly how much of that.
Yeah, no. She'll just scurry over to Snowball and play with Snowball and try and get them to try and win Snowball over with just bits of animal and food that they collected. Just come on, here, eat this.
You learn very quickly Snowball's a bit of a picky eater.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to predict what she'll eat.
Yeah, I think that's what's throwing her, because she'll just bring random. It's like, oh, I remember she liked this last time. Nope, doesn't like that. Never mind. I'm the fool here.
I am the fool.
Me, when my cats are like, oh, I don't want to eat that, and then they go and try and eat a plastic bag. I'm looking at you, Lance.
I bring like Snowball plastic bag.
That's the vibe I get from Snowball, is that, like, Snowball is very, very picky, but it's not like she'll only eat, like, chicken bones. She'll happily eat, like, certain rocks.
Yeah. Yeah. She won't eat any insects, but she will chew them. She likes to chew them. They have to go somewhere when she's done chewing them, because she won't swallow them, because she doesn't like to swallow them.
She loves to crunch the bugs.
They go in Walsh's tent.
Walsh is unhappy with this.
There's crunched bugs just everywhere in there.
Within reach all the time.
So if he ever wants crunched bugs, by God.
Crunched bugs and lots of frogs to eat the crunched bugs.
Yes.
God's bless Snowball. Love her.
He doesn't understand this, crucially.
Yeah. Good. Get wrecked.
He doesn't know where the bugs come from. And he's kind of sad about it.
I'm happy that he's sad. That makes me happy.
I hope that he thinks he's the one chewing them when he's asleep.
I hope that he thinks he's Spider's George.
What is wrong with all of you?
Hey,
look.
You put a fucked up little man in front of us, and we said we want you to be upset.
We want him to be miserable. For extremely valid reasons, I think. Granny wants to send a little sending.
Okay.
I'm thinking day 5.
Okay.
Very simple. Very basic. Hello, Soshu. It's Granny. Just checking in. I know travelling alone is tricky, so I wanted to make sure all was well on your journey.
Response is immediate.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Marvin. Or Miss Marvin, sorry, he knows you're not married. Hello, Miss Marvin. Lovely to hear from you. I hope you're doing okay. Still working on that thing for ya. Give your little demon cat a kissy for me. That's his entire response.
I love him. Thank you for that one, Parker. Irene does go give Snowball a little kissy. She does also want to do ascending to Aura when she has a minute, and it's just let me just make sure this is 25 words.
Little kissy.
Little kissy. Little demon cat a kissy. Let me just make sure this is 25 words. It's not quite. Hold on. It's over.
It's over, Yumkin.
Okay, this is 25 words. And she says, "Hi dear, it's Granny. I hope things are going well at home. Travels have been interesting, but I want to see you soon. Take care." To Aura.
Okay. There's a little bit of a pause with her.
Mm-hmm.
And then... Hi, Grandma. Glad to hear from you. Things are good here. When do you think you'll be coming back? That's it.
Okay. And that's a great question that Aura just asked. Oh no, Granny doesn't have any sendings left. Whoopsie.
Oh darn.
Oh shoot.
Just use the last one.
Just used the last one. She'll have to get to that tomorrow. Probably. So, no, she does not send an answer to Aura because she's a terrible grandmother.
She'll have to get to that tomorrow, unless, of course, she forgets.
Unless, you know how Granny's memory is. You know she's a little absent-minded these days. And really, what answer would she give her? When do you think you'll be coming back? Absolutely no goddamn clue.
He doesn't know that.
Yeah. So, sorry, Aura. Granny's being bad again. Granny is batshit.
That's what she deserves.
Your grandchildren are getting concerned about you.
I know, I'm concerned about them too. But you see, Parker, there's this thing called the plot that I have been unable to escape from for a year and a half.
I know. Any more sendings?
I should probably do a sending to Ando, but I don't...
You don't want to.
That sounds bad. Granny wants to do a sending to Ando. I don't want to come up with a sending to Ando. So, can we presume that she sent something similar along the lines of the Ara sending?
Yes, in which case you get a very similar response.
Perfect. Sounds good. Grandchildren are concerned. Uh-oh. Granny's out of sendings. Yeah, and that's all I need to do to maintain my family relationships for a bit, right?
I love Granny so much.
I feel so awful for treating her grandchildren this way, but but Granny's in a D&D campaign.
Yeah. She's got to ghost them a little bit.
She's got to ghost them a little bit. You see, she doesn't want to give them too many details about her whereabouts or when she might be back in case they get, like, caught up in criminal charges because Granny helped kidnap Thomas Walsh.
Oh my god.
And also Thomas Walsh's child. You know? Like, so it's better that they don't know where Granny is or when she's coming home. These are all internal thought processes that Irene is using to justify why she's not messaging her grandchildren. But I think that's it on sendings.
In which case, you all arrive home, or at least at Horitari.
We probably should or would have sent a message saying that we were either at the city or on our way to the city.
Yeah, once we were about reasonably about 2 days out, Axel would have sent.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we want to let her know when we're actually here in case she's sending the people to come with us into the city.
When you're all about you all start to be able to see the city while you're still about an hour out. The rice fields are very, very flat. And the city is sort of nestled in a river delta. Or at least just before the river delta. So the land sort of goes up from there. So you're able to see it about an hour before you get there. And a quick sending to Rivetta who sends the sending to Rivetta?
Because I feel like we need to we might need to just tell Inoue that we're like there, because she's
tell who sends what sending to who?
I mean, Asta can keep it prepared. Irene can if she would like.
Yeah, Irene can do ascending. That's fine. She's happy to do ascending. She doesn't have any other use for her spell slots right now. So, like, if we want Granny to message them, she can do both, or Aster can do one. Whatever Julius thinks is smart.
Yeah.
I just feel for, like, the, if we're gonna have, like, a escort into the city, it should be sent to Inoue. I don't know about Rivetta or not.
We can do both, is what I'm saying.
Alright. Yeah. Sounds good.
Like, we're not picking one or the other.
Okay.
We can do both.
Yeah.
Cool.
The two of us have sendings, so we can each do two.
And theoretically, Alex also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, who wants to send to Inoue and who wants to send to Rivetta, I think is the question.
Should probably be Irene who sends to Inoue. One, a little bit more reassuring. Two, a bit easier to take seriously.
Alright. So, I'm just letting her know that we on our way?
Yes. Be there in like an hour.
We are about an hour out from the city with everybody in tow. I say that in a Granny-like fashion. I don't feel like coming up with sendings.
Okay. The response you get from her is, thank you, Miss Marvin. There will be an escort waiting for you at the western gate.
Okay.
Rivetta from Aster. Rivetta.
Aster's also going to attack onto Rivetta. Is it wise that any of us in particular should be disguised?
Julius is being disguised as he gets there at the very least.
At the very least.
The response you get back very much has the vibes of, like, an adult who in their heart is saying swear words. But believes she is talking to a teenager. So, responds, "Thank you, Aster. Probably everyone, if we're being honest. But if you have to choose, my son, Nathaniel, Walsh,
Walsh is gonna be a problem."
Yeah.
I did want. I don't remember if in our party chat, our Pope chat, we agreed on it.
I don't think anybody disagreed with the strategy you're talking about.
The Sasha become Walsh moments.
Yeah, the hey Sasha, you want to earn your keep?
Jump scare Walsh and get in there.
Get on in there.
I'm sorry.
You're new Walsh.
So we can at least. He might work with us. Julius doesn't trust that.
So your plan.
Okay. So Nathaniel's going to know how to disguise again.
Okay. For the record, Agathon also has his
pendant of disguise.
Yeah, the pendant of disguise that he uses. So he has that.
Julius is going to spend a spell slot to cast Disguise Self.
Yeah, would it be better? They saw Naoki leaving with it, so it's better if Naoki comes back.
Mm-hmm.
And in case it's not clear, the idea is, hey Sasha, do what you did to Ix to Thomas Walsh.
Yes.
Okay.
Just to make sure that Thomas Walsh behaves himself.
Yeah.
Because it's actually going to be Sasha.
Okay. Sasha's like, would you suggest this plan to Sasha?
We probably give them
a
little bit of time, a few hours or maybe a day in advance, I would say.
Yeah, because that was what Julius had been suggesting to Sasha when he was like, hey, you could earn your keep if you come with us.
Okay. In which case, Sasha's like, the guy in the fabric house?
Oh, yes.
Okay, you're gonna have to, like, give me a minute.
How long of a minute? There's no rush, really.
Like, preferably, like, at least an hour.
No, that's just fine.
And I'm gonna need a door.
Oh.
A door?
Yeah, like something that you can, like, walk through and has, like, an openy, swingy bit. Like a door.
Ooh.
He doesn't mean that in a condescending way.
Someone mansplains the door.
Is the flap of the tent fine?
Yeah.
The what?
The fabric house has the fabric door. Is that suitable, or does it need to be made of sturdier material?
I think the fabric door will work.
then we can use the fabric door.
Okay.
We can always make it seem like we're taking him out for breakfast this time.
Yes, what do you need the door for? Does he need to go through the door?
Yeah.
Does Sasha only know how to do this when somebody walks through a door?
Yes.
Oh my god, I fucking love Sasha. God damn it. Why'd you have to do this to Ixer? You could have been with us, buddy. Damn it.
God damn.
God. So, when Walsh is like asleep, you see Sasha like go up to the tent flap and like starts like eyeballing it and fiddling with it. At one point they like lick their hand and like rub their hand all over the tent flap.
Oh my god.
You do not know what is happening here.
What the process is.
I believe in that. I trust that process. Like,
yeah.
I think it's legit. It seems legit.
So, process is occurring though.
I fucking love
as far as you can tell. And then in the morning, Sasha is like, new problem.
Yes.
I didn't think about it. No one else can use the fabric door until he does.
Alright, then we just won't do that, and we'll let everyone else know.
No, but like the door is already set up. Are we just gonna wait for him to like walk out? Like, is that?
Oh, I see. I see the issue because we said we would bring him out, but that would require using the. No, it doesn't. I can just teleport in there and get him to come out.
He has to go through the door first, though.
Yes,
for
but
sure.
I will go in and tell him to go out.
Okay.
Fucking Christ.
Sasha has a method.
Sasha has a fucking method. I respect the grind.
And as you let them know this is going to happen, everyone else watches them like sort of like crawl up on top of the tent.
Oh my god.
Above the door.
Oh my god.
And then they look over at everyone and just goes, "Okay, nobody look."
Julie's just gonna turn away.
Nobody is watching.
When he comes in, when he goes through the door, nobody look.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for the warning.
I respect this process so fucking hard.
Yeah, Julius will do that.
Irene's gonna do a weird thing and teleport into Mr. Walsh's tent for the morning.
You actually startle him?
Oh, hello, dearie. I'm so sorry about that.
Oh, that's alright. Is everything out there okay? I heard something on the tent a minute ago.
Oh, yes, there was some interesting wildlife out here, but it's all well. It's time for breakfast, and I was wondering if you might want to join everybody outside instead of having to sit in here alone.
He's gonna roll a fucking insight check.
Please roll
valid.
Low.
I can roll a deception check. Let me grab my
Come
dice.
on, Granny, you can do it.
First time Granny admits she has teleport, and it's to do this shit.
Oh, god damn it.
No, she's used it for other things before.
Yeah, she's used it before.
She used it for the devils.
Oh, this is I thought, like, the way you were describing, like, you have the teleport spell now, and I was like, that seems a little high, but I'm not gonna doubt it.
No, it's not. It's fucking. It's yeah.
He rolled a natural 1.
Yeah!
Incredible. Let's see what Granny gets.
Nobody suspects Granny.
What was this? Deception? That's a 16. So.
Yeah. No. He nods. And
lady disarmed him.
Yeah. We'll start to sort of make his awkward way out of the tent.
Granny doesn't look.
Yeah.
There is a heartbeat. And then you hear, he's very big and I don't like it.
Julius is now going to look.
Sasha is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Walsh is standing there, kind of uncomfortably, like he kind of like shifts in place a little bit. And then he looks down at where his hands are tied and he's like, I don't like this either.
We can get rid of that. You're good, right? You're set, right?
He's not trying to hurt you or anything?
Oh, he can't do that.
Yeah.
Alright, let's just...
Julius kind of grimaces a little bit, but will help untie the bonds.
They realize what they've said, and then they just kind of like try to smile. Unfortunately, it is with Walsh's face.
Oh no!
Oh
no.
So.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind, gamers.
God. I'm just imagining all the facial features Sasha is making do not look right on this man's face.
No.
Oh no.
That's why we did this with enough advance warning that they can practice carrying it off.
Sasha is a little bit cartoony in their like everyday life. This does not translate very well.
God.
Oh my god.
Walsh is gonna be so pissed when he gets home. I'm pleased as hell. Oh my god.
Yeah. This
we just need to make sure that he doesn't get the chance to retaliatory screw us over, because this is adding another thing to the list of crimes we have committed specifically against Walt.
Yeah, but we already needed to make sure he wasn't going to retaliatory screw us over. Like,
once we're at the temple, it'll be okay, because then we can have, we can get ready for his retaliation, and then have him under control a little bit. Hopefully. Anyways,
we can untie Sasha Walsh, Solsh, if you will.
Solsh. Yeah. We can untie Wash.
And he can have breakfast, because that is what Granny promised.
Yeah, well, Sasha fucking eats breakfast with you all, with Walsh's face.
Can we find, like, I'm sure that we have, like, a cloak somewhere that would be his size, right?
Yeah.
I think he should probably wear this, or you, for now. Just so he's less conspicuous. There's no way we're gonna be able to hide him as a person. But...
Walsh has, like, a cloak.
Yeah. I was just wondering if it had, like, ornamental shit on it. If it's just, like, a normal traveling cloak, then that's fine, but...
It is blue. Like a nice Royal Navy blue. But and has a couple of like metallic little clasps that it would use to clasp to his armor. But other than that, it is not like bejeweled or anything.
Unfortunately for him, he does not have his armor.
Yeah, they can also be used to like hook together.
Yeah.
So that it can just be, but like. That would be what you've got for him.
Alright.
It'll do.
It'll do.
It'll do.
It will indeed do.
So Othaniel gets the hat, Julius gets disguised, Walsh is Sasha now.
Yep. Agathon is already disguised.
Agathon's good, and we have an escort that'll meet us at the western gate. Let's go, boys!
Yep. Yeah. Can we do like a protect Rathway circle in the back of the caravan?
Oh, right. Rathray.
Yeah.
Because I just want to have I want the back of Rathray and then the sides to be protected, so like 3 people on horseback just kind of around Rathray just in case people get fucking weird about it.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think you all kind of start discussing like how to get Rathray into the city.
Yeah.
And Rathray just sort of telepathically with Julius. I would prefer not going into civilization.
You don't want to come in with the tapestry?
That is not what I said.
Well, that is where the tapestry is going. But if you prefer to stay out here, I can't stop you.
I need to...
Julius, as a note, is not saying this as like a this is not up for discussion thing. He is saying it as like our plan was to bring it inside kind of voice.
There are, I think, 2 options, one of which I prefer more than the other.
And that is to stay outside of the city, I suppose.
No, yes, I guess, yes. 1, I stay out here with the tapestry. And then there's kind of a pause, and the feeling you get over the telepathy is like, oh my god. Like,
yeah. There's a sympathy in Julius for that.
Or I can temporarily assume a humanoid form.
Julius looks a little bit surprised, like I don't know if he's facing Rathray at this point, but he does, like, wherever he is, turn around to look at Rathray in surprise.
The expression you're getting is like, I didn't tell you about this because I hate it.
So.
Right. Well, I will say it would be much harder for us to be able to get the High Priestess and any council that could discuss where the tapestry is, what to do with and or to discuss the tapestry outside of the city. It would be easier to just enter the city. It would cause less suspicion. And once we are in the temple under protection there, you can assume your natural form, like this.
I will do this for you. Once.
Sorry. Julius will just nod a little bit.
And you watch them sort of draw back a little bit and like with one more like expression. Their form starts to change. The glitching grows strong. The static grows stronger for a second, as if obscuring them in your sight. And you have to kind of like wince and look away. And then when you look back, when the static fades and you're able to look back, the form in front of you is that of what might look like some form of maybe Goliath, if maybe one of the parents was a lizard folk.
Oh. Interesting.
Like, functional, very large.
Nice.
Very, very passable. A little odd, but passable.
Wonderful.
They look very unhappy with you.
Yeah. I don't know. I assume Julius can talk to her through the telepathic bond. I do appreciate this. Hopefully you won't have to stay in that form very long.
You just get kind of a grumbling sound in
your
head.
I'm imagining, like, a cat that's being held that's, like, not happy about it at all.
Yeah.
God.
The Horitari music comes back.
Yo, the Horitari music, let's go.
Maybe I'll turn my current music different, and then I'll go back to the...
And with this grouping of people, you hit the western gate of Horitari. Your little caravan gets stopped by the front guard. And as you're all thinking, oh shit, how do we communicate what's going on? Agathon, as Naoki, steps forward.
Thank God for our boy.
God.
And starts to speak with one of the guardsmen who, in a very low, quick tone, and then a couple of sentences later, they sort of open the gate large enough for your covered wagon to fit through, and on the opposite side, a collection of temple guard in the same bright blue, it's like armor covering, like the big cloth, like armor covering on top of things. Mm-hmm. I have it in my brain. Yep. I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very much what Shoji is wearing. Your guard friend Shoji, who is having the weirdest 2 weeks of his life.
He's doing so well, and I'm proud of him.
He's gonna put in his 2-week notice thing.
He's gonna need therapy.
Sorry, man. We all need therapy here. Join the club.
Shoji ain't special.
I was gonna ask if we can contribute to his therapy bill, but I think we all need therapy.
We need therapy, and also we're broke.
Because we keep refusing loot.
Yep. Anyways, continue.
They all sort of gather, and Agathon, as Naoki, speaks to one of them, one who's wearing a little bit more of the blue and sort of a large sort of cap, seems to denote him as a little bit of a higher ranking, and Sasha, as Walsh, is eventually sort of signaled to sort of make a quick appearance.
And they have gotten a party line that we are. I'm not sure exactly what the party line is, but they have gotten a party line.
Yeah, and they have nodded very stately, and this seems to do the trick.
I love it.
Shout out to him. Solsh.
So they are what guide you back through the city. You do get a couple of looks as a caravan, flanked by temple guard is not an unusual sight, but it's always an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
And you are all brought to the center of the city. The temple wall is ringed with guardsmen of both the temple variety and the city variety. The inside is quiet, and the people who dart between buildings move fairly quickly. This is still an active crime scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you are, your cart is sort of taken from you at the wall entrance and told it will be stashed with where a lot of the temple cartage sort of ends up being placed, very much taken care of along with the horses. And you are all ushered inside the main central building, which is empty except for the guardsmen that are lining the walls. It very much seems like security is sort of on high alert. You are sort of getting the guards are very professional, insofar that you don't have to super worry about them saying anything, but you are getting energy of okay, there's Walsh, there's Naoki, there's Shoji. Who the fuck?
Who in the goddamn are these people?
Who did they pick up?
Who did they pick up?
I mean, we could at this point possibly nudge Othaniel to let the illusion drop now that we are within the temple complex.
You should not do that just yet.
We'll wait just a minute.
They're all the energy you're getting from a lot of people is, who the fuck are you? Where's the kid? Why are you back? But Sasha, Naoki seems to kind of be pushing sort of everyone just in that you are a minimum wage guard. We don't talk to you about this type of thing.
For a reason.
And Walsh's
yeah.
Washa is very much playing the stoic sort of statesman and sort of not really speaking to anybody. I like whoever drew a crab and then labeled it cab.
Cab.
And the lot of you are led down the first floor and into the second floor of the temple, the first underground floor, and are led into a larger side room that none of you have seen yet. And in this room seems to be sort of a couple of sitting mats, a table in the center, lamps and incense burners. It seems to be very much like an official greeting room for visitors to the temple. Inside are two people. Rivetta is sort of standing off in the corner of the room, sort of as if she is making herself busy, setting things organized properly. Everything in this room is fine. it's very much just busy work to give her deniability if anyone asks.
Mm-hmm.
And the other sitting on a slightly raised platform on a very fine cushion, dressed in an elegant but functional kimono. For the first time for some of you, is Inouye Satoshi. Long, dark hair is sort of pinned up in an intricate bun style with a few hair ornaments. And she has a few papers on the low table in front of her. There is a different air about her right now. For those of you that have seen her in the recent years, or have recently broken into this temple.
I can't think of anybody here who's done that, so it's a little weird for you to specify that one, Poker.
Yeah, Nagi would literally never break into a temple.
Literally have never broken
Sacred
into a
ground.
Temple.
It is not as though she was in any way what you would describe small, but there was definitely a reservation, definitely a pulling back of herself. And now sitting in this room with finery and in the seat of power, Julius and Irene, you have not seen this woman so embody herself in years.
I think Julius kind of, anyone near him does see him relax a little bit at that, like, relief. A little bit. Maybe a little bit of pride too, who knows?
She has this emanating aura about her, for those who have never seen her before, that just sort of feels so welcoming and yet powerful. The energy of someone who turns heads in any room she walks into, and yet has this approachable energy. You don't call her MILF.
Yeah.
Look.
She is pretty, though.
You all are in places struck by her beauty. She is older. She is in her late 40s, so there is age on her face and in her body, but even then she is gorgeous. She carries just this eminence about her. And she looks over all of you. And she recognizes a couple of you out of disguise.
We only had a little bit of disguise. We did what we could.
Yeah. And eventually she turns to address Thomas first, actually. And
are the guards still in here?
She dismisses the guard with a wave of her hand.
That's what I needed to know.
And she goes, "Welcome back, Thomas." And there is an energy to her when she says this. And Sasha, as Walsh, kind of shifts on one foot and, like, looks down at Julius.
So the people in this room.
That'll certainly tell us something's up.
So the people in this room are Inouye and who?
Inouye and Ravetta.
Okay, it is just
and
them.
Those who traveled with us.
Yeah. Julius is just gonna kind of and like, well, he's not exactly you see, we picked up a friend along the way, kind of an acquaintance.
If the gods
Thomas is
we
not.
Can drop disguises.
Thomas is locked away in there a little bit.
There is a confusion on her face, and she turns to look at you. Julius?
Julius will take the hood down and drop the disguise.
And there is just this moment of relief on her face.
Asta will kind of indicate to Nathaniel to also drop the...
Nathaniel does. And... You all almost see, like, stress and worry just melt off of her face. And Ravetta sort of stands up and sort of comes over, and she looks at her children, and they both look at their children, essentially. And
Julius will give her a slight smile.
Well, if Thomas isn't here, then we'll talk about it in a moment. Come here. And she holds out her arms to both Julius and Nathaniel.
Yeah, Julius is gonna go hug her.
Nathaniel is not too very far behind, and we have waited 1,000 years for this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Ravetta is there, and all of you watch Nauki, as Agathon as Nauki, sort of break character as well, and for the first time, this whole family is in each other's arms, knelt on the floor of this room, clinging to each other in some cases.
Inouye is in the hug as well, correct?
Yeah.
I think that weight hits him, and Julius buries his head in her neck, basically, and he's crying, and it is silent, heartbreakingly so, and he is shaking with the weight of the sobs.
Julius, you feel arms tighten around you. And you hear Ravetta in your ear. The same sort of low, soft ways she would speak to you as a small child when you were upset.
Oh, that's just breaking his heart.
And the rest of you are standing there watching this.
Give him a minute. I do have one other question.
Yeah.
Is this room big enough for Rathray?
No.
Okay. Fortunately, we do know an area that is.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not right now's problem. But give him a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I think once Julius finally catches his fucking breath, the crying stops. And he kind of takes a minute to, like, pull out of it and, like, just look at these people that he has not seen in a very long time, including Agathon, and just takes it in.
That sort of is the energy. You do witness, at one point, Revetta sort of look over the hug at Agathon, sort of like, I'm glad you're here, what are you doing? And he kind of winces a little bit. He's like, cat's a little out of the bag on this one. And he too drops the disguise on that one. And those of you who can see Revetta's face, there's an energy of like, you didn't just make a fucking pun right now.
He did, because he's the perfect man.
He's my dad.
That's your dad, Woogie Woogie Woogie.
God. And Nathaniels.
And it takes a while. I think it's actually Othaniel who ends up breaking the hug first, not intentionally, but sort of they get kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah.
With
overstimulated.
Too much stimulation, and Agathon reads that cue instantly.
Mm-hmm.
And starts to extricate Othaniel out, and the rest of it sort of collapses, and
yeah,
even as that happens, Inway will not let go of your hand, Julius.
Yeah, Julius is, he's trying very hard not to get any more fucking tears on her. He feels kind of bad, but, shrug, it's been 20 years. She
doesn't seem to give a shit.
Yeah.
In fact, you can kind of see, like, the shimmering of tears in her eyes as well. And with her other hand, the one not holding yours, Julius, she kind of wipes at her face a little bit. Okay.
Okay. I told you, I made sure to tell you guys that they were both safe.
And Revetta nods, and she says, "Thank you, Master."
That's different to see it.
And she nods. She has an arm around your waist, Julius.
Yeah.
Julius
has, like, he's got his hand in a way, and he's got, like, his tail wrapped around part of Revetta's, like, leg or something. Just like a slight wrap, also.
Revetta is covering up her emotions by looking at you, Julius, and going, "Have you still not gotten a shirt?"
I was gonna say, Julius probably put on one of his, like, it's got one of those, like, piratey, like, poet shirt kind of things, but it is black and probably got some embroidery on it, because it was probably somewhere deep in his wardrobe and he put it on because he's like, I'm gonna see my mom and she's gonna be upset about this.
Yeah.
It is
so in that case,
it is a little bit low cut, but and open a little, but like less no shirt than anything.
In which case, then what she says is, I told you to get a shirt. I meant a real shirt. And she kind of like grabs like the collar of it and like pulls it tight, like pulls it like together on your chest.
Look, you could dedicate my wardrobe years ago. You can't do it now.
I am your mother, and when you are in my home, you will wear a proper shirt.
Julius just shakes his head a little bit.
When you are in the house of God.
You can't be tits out for fucking Lede? Hello? when can you?
Tits out for Lede should have been our political campaign.
It sure is Julius.
Instead of get out the vote, get out the tits.
God.
And this entire family ends up sort of sat on various cushions kind of together on the other side of the room, and the rest of the party is also given cushions to sit in like a circle. And Inway looks at everybody and goes, there is business to be done. We can have more pleasantries, I think, in a bit. It is lovely to meet those of you that I haven't yet. If this is not Thomas, where is he? And she kind of is nodding at Swalsh.
Swalsh. Washa, as I like to call it.
Yeah, Washa.
I think that might be best for Sasha to explain, but Asta might explain sort of the basics
of what Swasha is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and sort of what's been explained to us.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of look to Sasha to fill in more details if they are inclined.
No, you cover just about everything that Sasha knows, because Sasha does not know a lot either.
God bless.
And
they kind of offer Inway a wave at one point, and they're like, I get the vibe that this one is not a very nice man, and I'm sorry. And Inway just kind of sighs a little and just like, it's not your fault. Sasha? Sasha, yes, Sasha. Okay.
We did it mostly as a precaution. Sasha surprised one of our friends here and was not well, but I figured this would be a good way for them to repay for that.
And to keep Father Walsh from being able to ruin things. And make us getting back into the city infinitely harder.
She nods again and just if he can stay there safely for a bit longer, I would prefer that. So we can have a conversation without him first.
I think everybody might prefer that, frankly.
If you're able to, Sasha.
Sasha nods.
Alright. There is another thing that needs to be discussed.
Alright.
So, the tapestry. We were able to find it and bring it here. But in the process, we did encounter a being known as Rathray, and as the protector of such an item, we have brought them with us. They are not currently in a form that they prefer, and the form is quite large.
We would need to move somewhere else.
And they are here to discuss what is to happen with the tapestry. If it will stay here or the like, so...
Telepathically, and Othaniel translates for everybody. The thing is, thank you for the introduction. I may speak for myself.
Julius will nod.
And Rathray, in their Goliath form, looks directly at Inway, and the rest of you can't hear what is said. But there is a long, quiet moment where they are looking at each other. And then After a moment, Rathray nods and sort of sits back on their haunches, and Inway goes, "Well, I think Rathray and I are going to have a longer discussion later, but there is a short agreement for now. Thank you, Julius."
Julius will nod again.
So if we have the tapestry and its caretaker, and we have my husband currently in a form of custody, and she kind of looks at Sasha like corner of the eye a little bit, and eventually I think I would like to have a bit longer of a conversation about what exactly happened over the last month or so.
Yeah.
I think that there's a bit of, me and Rivetta and I, alongside a couple of the clergy that I can count as loyal to myself, have hatched a little bit of a plan.
Well, that's good, because I didn't have much of one. Aside from stir up a little bit of shit. Sorry.
Okay, sweetheart. I mean this with all the love in my heart. I did not expect you to be ready with a complex internationally political plan.
Yeah, that's fair. It's not like I spent my life in this.
I think Othaniel does kind of have that, like, Julius said a cuss word in front of Mom expression.
Julius will do all the things that Othaniel hasn't. Paved the way.
Word in front of Mom.
He did apologize.
In front of Mom.
I can imagine Rivetta throwing daggers right now.
A little bit. Rivetta's
Yeah.
like, but you said you're sorry, so she's not gonna say anything.
Yeah. God.
Agathon does think it's funny.
What was that?
Agathon does think it's funny.
Good.
Inway is sat between Rivetta and Agathon, and Othaniel is on Agathon's other side. And Inway keeps speaking, and she goes, "It will involve, eventually, returning Thomas here. But I think we can all be okay with a couple more hours of him not being here."
I think a moment's peace without him would be wonderful for all of us.
Yeah, also, that guy's really manipulative.
She nods. I also presume introductions have been done by this point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nagina said, "Yeah, I was that one kid who snuck into your room, but I look like a human."
And she was like, "You snuck into my room. You know, we can have a longer conversation later."
Julia's mouths to her just like, "I'm not their keepers."
Irene literally only has to open her mouth to say hello, and everybody knows who she is because she has talked to everybody via sending.
Yeah.
So this is my new grandma. She's
so
great.
I hope we don't mind adding another figure to this family we've got.
God.
Mm-hmm. Inway goes, well, one big announcement apparently has already been done, and she looks at Agathon.
To be fair, that wasn't his fault.
Yeah.
It was an effect of somebody else that was working for Walsh that ended up ripping the pendant off of him.
Agathon's like, yeah, what they said. And Inway goes, I figured Aggy, but, you know. And he, like, smiles at her. And she sort of turns back. Well, I have a lot of questions for you all, but I think, you know, I'll give you the opportunity to ask us any questions you need. I know we've kept some things from you all, and I'm sorry about that, but... She is particularly looking at, like, Julius and Nathaniel.
I don't know what to ask her exactly. Hold on. I'm trying to remember what... Because right now my brain is...
This is your in-character. Parker will explain all of the bullshit I made you do for a couple of months.
Yeah, I think... Because I'm not sure... I wrote some stuff down and I don't remember where I put it about... Oh no, that's to Walsh. Oh, here we go. Well... I don't know. I'm trying to see if...
I mean, I have something I can think, although it's not a leaded question at me.
Okay.
I mean, ask questions.
Yeah. Well, mentioned when I spoke to him, which was a conversation that he didn't come out happy from, by the way. Asta sounds more neutral in that than I do. Asta sounds like he's just stating a fact. He mentioned that if the situation with the three of you had been known in the north, it would have had severe consequences to you and the city. Was he blowing smoke out of his ass?
Inway kind of sighs, and there's a lot of complicated political history we could get into. I could give you a whole lecture about a lot of things for a while here, but the summary is essentially 20 years ago was 20 plus, sorry. 20 to 30 years ago. That was all. That was a really scary time here. A lot of people, a lot of powerful people had just been killed. There was a lot of talk of retribution and repercussions. There was a lot of fear. At the time, some of our... She looks as if she's trying to find a good word.
Peers?
Some of those...
Peers?
No, not peers. Some of our...
Order?
She shakes her head again. Some of those with power in the Emperor's court wanted more security here in many ways. Having a grip on the temple was seen as a step towards that social security. And they very much expected certain things. Of me, of the temple, of all sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
There were concerns that if a marriage could not be found, other avenues would have been taken. And Granny in specific, you know exactly what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Does PK need a reminder?
I mean, I have it all in my notes, but if you want to say it out loud for other people.
I'm trying to think if there's anybody else who would know. Julia's not really, but I'll just leave. Since you have it, PK, I'll just leave it to you.
Well, Granny's not going to cut in at this moment.
Yeah. But if, you know.
If other people want to ask, Granny will explain.
Yeah.
Later.
I think Ash was kind of recognizing the shape.
Think that your existence, okay, Julius, did throw a wrench into things. In that you would have been my eldest, and therefore theoretical heir.
Julius nods. And I'm sure the politics of it wouldn't have been very, excited about marrying somebody without political power, I suppose. He looks at Agathon.
Agathon doesn't do the pose, but kind of has the energy of like, hey.
Yeah. God.
Like awkward, like cat being held up by the scruff of the neck a little bit.
Yeah. God. That's where I get the wet rat energy from.
Yeah. And she goes, No, Agathon would not have been, or Bravetta would not have been conducive to certain desires.
Julius nods.
Things have changed, though. Things have changed a lot in the last couple of decades. I think it would be much safer if what had happened 30 years ago happened today. We would not be having the same problems. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that.
The issues were very much of a certain time. And I was still quite young. We were all still quite young.
Julius just kind of makes a face a little bit at that.
So, if Walsh believes or has a greater knowledge of what some of the repercussions would have been if the Emperor's court had not been pleased, I would not disbelieve that.
Thank you. For the clarity, if nothing else.
She nods.
I want to ask questions so bad, but I don't know what to ask her. God damn it. I wish I would have...
Do you have a vibe on the things you want clarity of?
No. Which is the whole problem, otherwise I'd be saying it.
Is the DM willing to be kind and give, like, a prompt to remind Ren of possible questions?
Well, there's a lot that could be asked or answered, so I don't exactly want to put all that on Parker right now. I'm just trying to go through my notes and see if there's...
Questions about, like, Agathon's role, about what was going on in the temple before everyone showed up, what was going on with Ophaniel, what was happening, why everyone was so resistant to you all being involved at first in specific.
Yeah, that might be one that Julius is interested in, mostly because, well, I am curious why you didn't want us to necessarily butt in. I know it may have ruined some plans or you had to do adjustments, but I couldn't just not do anything. I hope you understand.
And she looks at you so soft as you say that.
And Julius, like, kind of does, like, one of those, like, pleading looks, and he's like, my kid sibling,
And Rivetta nods and just, I know. I'm so proud of you for wanting to and for doing what you had to do, what you thought was best. But I was also trying to keep you safe. If you were uninvolved, then there would be no reason for Thomas to know you were here, back. And the situation with Ophaniel was precarious. I was just trying to keep you both safe.
Well,
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Seemed like I was pushing you away.
Look, I spent so long away from you all. It felt like I needed to do something, and I mean, I know I didn't have to, but I'm kind of afraid of what would have happened if I didn't.
She squeezes your hand. I have learned that it is better with this sort of thing to not worry about the what-ifs. They'll drive you insane.
Yeah.
What's done is done, and it seems to have worked out shockingly well.
Thank the gods for that one. He just, like, closes his eyes a little bit. Silent prayer to day, like, thanks, I guess.
Mm-hmm. You hear the yipping of a fox.
Oh, God. I'm never gonna get used to that, he mutters to himself. was curious, though. That, like, prophecy situation thing, quite honestly, it was a mess to try and hear about secondhand.
She winces a little bit.
Was that all? And he kind of, like, gestures with his hand a little bit.
She hesitates a second and then looks over at Ophaniel and reaches her other hand out and takes Ophaniel's hand. And then looks back at you. When they first took you from me, I was so scared. And I did whatever I could to think of to at least try to ensure that you were alive. So I told them that Lede had spoken to me and told me that a child of mine would be destined for something. I did make it up.
Julius kind of, like, smiles a little bit at that. He does look a little bit relieved, to be honest.
And Thomas believed it? And at first I was very grateful. And then he started talking about having another child.
Julius makes a little bit of a... He looks like he understands. Or, is sympathetic, not understands. He already fucking knows, but yeah.
She turns to Ophaniel and she says, I love you so very much. You are my child and I'm glad that I have you. This is not... I don't want you to think that you are something I didn't want. And she picks up their hand and kisses the back of it. Once Ophaniel was born, the Walsh, Thomas, became insistent that my prophecy was about them instead. And things got a lot more complicated very fast.
Julius nods. Unfortunately, I don't think that did much to try and keep me safe, at least. From what I gathered when I talked with him, I think he probably meant for me to die. Considering he was very surprised to see me alive.
She tries so hard to hide the pain on her face. And it's there for just a second before she manages it.
You did what you could. And I appreciate that. And I'm very fortunate for my circumstance that allowed me to be escaped in a short amount of time. 3 years isn't exactly short, but it's better than the alternative. I And I think Julius would go into an explanation for her and everybody in the room about the captivity he was in, who got him out of that situation, the founding of the cage, at least in theory, and maybe not exactly all of it, but just like a rundown. Maybe even stuff that the party doesn't know. He would mention that after he had been basically left for dead, ended up finding a person, a paladin of life, called Kus, and that she took him around the last couple of years. Basically brought him some hope and helped him find himself a little bit. Enough to recover, at least, and come back.
She listens to this. All three of them listen to this. And she squeezes your hand so tight. And
I think that might be the same hand he's got the bracelet on.
Mm-hmm. And Rivetta goes, well, if you ever find her again, let her know I'll make her a damn good cup of tea.
I haven't seen her in a while, but I'll let her know that she's welcome, at least.
Does it seem like Othaniel is inclined to ask anything?
Make an insight.
Carefully. This tray. What the fuck are your modifiers? Ah, yes, insight is one of the skills you're good at. 19?
Seems like they are sitting on something, but it doesn't seem like they want to ask it in public, if that makes sense.
Yep, too many people. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Asta won't try to pry.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, because I'm curious, this wasn't exactly a thing that popped up, but I mean, it made more sense the older I got. And he, like, looks at the three of them. Didn't exactly know at the time what this was.
Agathon kind of grins a little bit. And in a way kind of, like, gives him a look, like, Aggy, calm down. And she nods. We have the way that we work.
I mean, if you don't want to detail it, that's fine. I don't need details. It's just... It was an interesting thing to find out. Fairly recently, I suppose. I mean, I always kind of thought you were close. And he looks at, in a way, and Rivetta, when I was younger.
Rivetta kind of huffs at you, and she's like, yeah, because we're going to tell the small child the big secret details of our illicit relationship. Okay.
Julius just chuckles a little bit. Hey, I would have been too young to think about it anyways. It's fine.
And Inway very much gives her a, like, you kidding? Like, the vibe you're getting is, like, Rivetta and Agathon, like, shitheads.
Yeah, shitheads, and points at, in a way, shithead lover.
Yeah. Inway has a type. God bless.
Yeah.
She's the one who chose these people.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because Julius is also a shithead, and he's the one that likes the Inouye types.
Mm-hmm.
God bless.
Inway just sort of. We've made it work over the years in different ways. Agathon and I have been together for a long time, and Rivetta and I have been together for an even longer time. The two of them are very good friends.
Julius nods. He is curious what the expressions are on Agathon and Rivetta's face at the very good friends thing, though.
Agathon is busy being a simp.
Yeah. I love him, God bless.
And Rivetta, Rivetta just kind of sort of gives Agathon a bit of a side look. It's very fond.
Yeah.
But it is very much, like, not the way she looks at Inway that you're picking up on now.
Yeah. He had his suspicions.
PK summed it up pretty succinctly.
Mm-hmm.
He does. That is true. God bless.
Rivetta would eventually explain. I'm not interested in men.
Right.
Fair enough.
I picked. He kind of coughs a little bit. I think I picked up on that.
Yes, well.
I'm gonna think of a different question to ask now. He's I don't know if we got tea, but he sure is sipping it, or mentally anyways. God, I don't know what else I want to ask them.
I mean, out of character, there is the possibility that they might be able to shed some clarity on Nagi's situation.
True.
But I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to know what their big political plan is.
Yeah, I'm pretty curious too.
What are they gonna do with Welshie Boy?
I think that might be his next question, because he is curious. He's gonna look at
we should possibly also let them know that we have a possible lead to some things that might be able to get Welsh convicted, if that's gonna change plans.
They might even
Let's hear their plans first.
They might already know. We'll see. If they don't, we'll tell them. But Julius will just kind of like, well, I'm curious. I'm not exactly one for politics, but I am very curious about what you've come up with, or at least a rough estimation, if you don't mind us hearing about it a little bit.
Well, what I said about the situation politically being much different today than it was a long time ago. One of those things is the governor's office. It's held by a much different man now. One who is far more sympathetic to me than he is to Thomas.
Excellent.
It is probably going to have to mostly be quiet.
Right.
But I believe Imperial Governor Chihu will be very open to suggestions that involve removing Thomas Walsh from Horitari.
I feel like Julius might mention, like, a couple of details that we've gotten about Walsh, like the fact that, like, he's got some aversion to, the Golden Skulls, the fact that he's been, like, you know, working with certain fractions of people, and, like, knew about political... I think Nagi end up telling us about the political figures, or the people that were involved with the devils or whatever that he had been, like, messing with, or whatever the heck that was? My brain is not working right now, I'm sorry.
You had not mentioned that, no.
Okay, then Julius will not say anything about it.
Well, it's mostly because I forgot. I was more concerned about mom stuff than the crime in the temple. She would have mentioned it, though, probably.
Okay. Well, then he might at least put that into the open, as well as, like, the fact that he had heard from Kus that there may have been an agent from the Golden Skulls in the government, which I think he already told Ravetta about.
You did.
So, just reiterating the facts to them.
But people associated with the devils who are within the temple.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
Take anything Walsh says with a grain of salt. They know that. You don't need to state that part.
Yep.
There is a bit of surprise, I think, when you say that.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't seem to have been information that this trio particularly had.
No, I mean, it makes a little bit of sense considering who took me. It seemed to have been a faction of the Black Devils.
Inway nods, and she goes, "No, it does. Thomas does not inform me of many things. I am surprised that this is not was not an exception." It does change a little bit of things, though, so thank you.
Julius will nod. Her to thank for that one, and he'll gesture to Nagi.
Nagi will give a peace sign.
She says thank you, to Nagi. The actual details of what will happen to Walsh, I think, have to come when we talk to the governor. But
of course. No, I'm well aware that certain things need to be held quiet until it actually occurs. Or perhaps entirely.
She nods again. If you all have any sort of evidence beyond your witness testimony, I think that would help.
Well, there was the guard that, he's getting a lawyer first, but the guard who was escorting Mr. Walsh when he left.
We're also waiting on sort of the results of a little side project that we underwent that, should things go well, will turn up some solid evidence.
He kind of looks at you a little bit, and there's kind of the energy of, like, that sounds shady, I don't want to know.
That is exactly why Irene phrased it in exactly the way she did.
Because it's Grandma. Like, yes, if you do not ask questions, this goes smoother for all of us.
We're waiting on some results from a different project. Smiley face.
And Shoji was the name of the guard, right?
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
And the guard's name is Shoji, which is great. And says that after Granny says a really sus thing.
Shoji, yes, I know he went with Thomas. I will speak to him.
Alright. I think that might be the extent of what we know. At least what Ren is remembering, because I don't have a good brain. It's all Swiss cheese up there.
Squeeze.
And it sure is funky.
It's squeeze in there.
Squeeze. When
You got some squeeze?
you want some squeeze?
You want some fucking squeeze? Ingredients.
She will nod and just we'll let you know what works out on our side. Just it might also be best if you all keep a bit of a low profile at the moment.
Oh, good.
Not all of your names and faces are known, but a number of them are.
Nagi puts her hands up in the air and waves it, like she's waiting to be called on in class.
Yes, Nagi?
Is my face known? It's really hard to hide. She grins.
I don't believe yours is associated with the kidnapping charge yet, no.
Oh, Pog.
But it is something to be aware of.
Well, more to tack onto my list, I suppose.
Could you specify who exactly is implicated in the kidnapping charge? To your knowledge.
Kay is. Looking at my notes. There are rumors about someone, I believe, that would fit the bill for Alex.
Damn it, poor cowman.
That could have been any Furbolg, Your Honor.
Not our Furbolg. Surely not.
And I believe one of your disguises as well is compromised. A dark-skinned, a drow elf.
That may have been Ix, right?
Yes, it is Ix.
Yeah, that's one of Ix's.
Okay. I'm just gonna put in my notes, Drow Ix.
Yeah,
if you will.
I will send to the Pope channel that, hey, don't use the drow face in.
Yeah, we should probably do that for... I'm just gonna put that in Pope chat just for everybody. Because... Yeah, actually, you can do that if you're already typing the message, because Noct isn't here. And Alex is there.
Disguise in town. Update for Nocturne. There's rumors about Alex being involved in the kidnap.
That literally could have been any Furbolg. People are just racist.
Furbolg, but just keeping that as a...
You make a people are just racist joke, that is real, actually. Depending on the area of the world you go to when it comes to Furbolgs.
Oh no. Not the Furbolg microaggressions.
Even more than calling, what was it? Asking if eating steak is cannibalism for a Furbolg? Yeah.
Not the aggression, but Alex.
But, anyway.
We can keep low profile. Sorry. I didn't realize you were going to be talking.
No, go for it, actually.
We can keep those of us who need to be disguised and keep a low profile for a bit. Possibly move on moderately soon. So sort of looking to the party, but that is a cash that requires that is an asterisk for when we have the whole party here.
It says, I would like some time to speak with Julius in specific, but
my time is yours.
And otherwise, I'll make sure to let everyone know when things happen. So I think it might be best if you can stay in town for now, if you can.
I think maybe a week or so, at least.
She nods.
I also have to go visit a couple of people. He, like, makes a face. Oh, Shinohara's not gonna be happy with me.
Agathon does, like, I want to meet that girl, by the way.
I mean, I'm sure that I can bring you guys to her if you'd like. Or bring her here? I don't know if she'd want to. Oh god. Maybe you shouldn't. She might end up, kicking your ass.
I'll wait a couple days, give you a shot, and then I'll find her.
Yeah, if you look too much like me, she'll know immediately. I have a feeling.
One benefit of this face.
Julius does not look pleased.
He's kind of like giving you a little bit of a shit grin.
Yeah. Julius become tormented by old man.
Yeah.
Specifically his old man.
Exactly.
Oh, old man be upon ye.
Yeah.
God. Otherwise, you are all free to leave. I'm willing to call this session for now.
All right.
Yo. And next week there will be a little bit more plot wrap up and then downtime.
Thanks.
Yes!
Thanks fuck for the downtime.
Oh, hell yeah.
Finish off the session. Nagi will say that she's gonna get sushi and ask if anyone wants to join.
Oh,
yeah. Sushi gang. Everybody's getting sushi.
We gotta go near port. The freshest fucking sushi.
You could absolutely get that shit. It's delicious.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, God, I want sushi so bad now. Damn it.
I'm assuming we left Ophaniel with their parents.
Yes.
We did not continue our kidnapping with Ophaniel.
Julius does say that they are always welcome at his boat. If they ever want to travel into the city, they just send somebody by with a message and Julius can either meet them or otherwise.
The cool sibling.
Yeah. If you want to have a day out, sibling, I'll take you.
On the way out, Sasha also kind of spits Walsh out.
Yeah.
Spits Walsh out, oh my god.
God.
Sasha was a painter, right?
No, Sasha was the doppelganger.
Oh, the doppelganger, that's right, yeah.
And when he does, Walsh kind of is like stumbling forward and like completely like, what the fuck? Where am I?
Julius is just, he looks at him and waves and he's like, bye.
Sasha on their way out sort of like does look at him and he goes, yeah, you can have him. He isn't very nice. And then and then they follow you out.
God.
We did this in a safe, controlled fashion, right?
Yes.
We did this in a safe, controlled fashion. Gave them enough warning that in a way can
Take him away.
Just as long as Walsh is not a problem for us right now, that's all I give a shit about.
Problem anymore.
I like that Walsh essentially got Kirby'd.
He did!
By a little rat guy.
Parker, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you expect us to Kirby the Walsh?
Honestly, a full 10.
Nice.
It's the best way to deal with him is to just not deal with him and put him in the back corner where he belongs.
The moment I realized you still have the doppelganger, I was like, that solves the getting Walsh home problem. Fuck.
That's why I was like, no, we have to keep him. I'm sorry, Ix.
Otherwise, we would have had to weaken up Bernie's him, yeah?
I gotta say, Inoue popping off with the single word Thomas, like ready to serve the goddamn divorce papers, Thomas, like fully fucking like first words out of her mouth, Thomas. You could tell that woman was ready to kill. Iconic.
I love my moms. And my shithead dad.
And your dad.
Yeah.
That's your dad.
That's your father.
They're great. I like them.
What a guy. What a lad.
I bet he owns so many, like, best of Queen albums.
Hey, that might be Julius also.
Aggy. Terrible. Horrible.